tone. And on that one, yeah.
What's going on, Big Sis? How we feeling today?
And how you doing?
Doing well, sir.
We said a lot today.
Yeah. I felt like today should be a day where we're starting to reach the top of the hill, and now we're about to get on the other side of things. It's time for us to start looking forward toward the Seahawks. But before we do so, I felt like it was important that we really ironed out who we should be holding accountable for where the Philadelphia Eagles are and why they are what they are, instead of just aiming for, like you said earlier, the low-hanging fruit. I felt like it was important for us to really recalibrate. That's kind of been the theme for me today, recalibrating and kind of reassessing just where they are, how they're built, where Jalen Hurts is, who he's been, prior to becoming the Philadelphia Eagle, who he is now, and kind of just, giving ourselves a reality check of what the exact situation is in Philadelphia. I felt like that was my goal today.
I was listening to you earlier, and I heard you talking about position coaches.
Right.
So then I expanded on it, and I looked up the coaching staff right there for anybody to Google. And I went down the list: Sean Desai, Brian Johnson, DJ Elliott, DK McDonald, Alex Tennell, Rennell Williams, Marcus Brady, Matt Patricia, Tyler Brown, Taver Johnson, TJ Pagnetti, and Tyler Scudder. The one thing these guys all have in common, they're in first-year roles in their new respected positions. And if you take the 3 quality control coaches out of the bottom of the deck, they only have 22. They changed 12 of the 22 coaches out and putting in first-year roles on that coaching staff.
Yep.
After a Super Bowl. The turnover in the coaching staff was more than the turnover
on the roster.
Why wouldn't you expect wobbling on both sides with new personnel, especially on defense, and new coaches in first-year roles?
It's so funny. I'm looking at the respective coaching staffs for the Cardinals and the Colts, right? And, Shane Steichen did it right. You know what Shane Steichen did? Knowing he was a new head coach, you know what he decided to do? He decided to bring in guys that have been there before. He decided to bring in guys and surround himself with experience. Let me just go through his coordinators. Let me just go through the coordinators. And you know what I love about the Colts coaching staff, not just the staff, but also what I like about their staff website. Next to the name and the position of the coach, they put their years of experience right under it. And I love that. So
Chris Greer's a great GM too, man. So he really is the thing that keeps that thing afloat there.
Listen to this.
Or Chris Ballard, excuse me.
Right. Listen to this. The Colts, right? Again, Shane Steichen, first-year head coach. Defensive coordinator, Gus Bradley, 34 years of experience.
Oh, Jesus.
34 years of experience, Gus Bradley, DC.
Part of the Legion of Boom in Seattle.
OC, Jim Bob Cooter, 16 years.
Wow. Baltimore Ravens.
Special teams coordinator, Brian Mason, 14 years.
Brought all experienced guys who have had one at the NFL level.
Exactly. His office.
There's better coordinators in Indianapolis than there is in Philly.
Listen to this. And these are just assistants, right? Wide receivers coach, Brian Bratton, 11 years experience. Head strength and conditioning, Richard Howell, 30 years. Where else? Where else are we looking here? They just have experience.
How about their D-line coach?
Defensive line. Nate Ollie, 10 years.
Who's the O-line coach?
Their offensive line coach. Give me one moment here.
Always start there in the positions because that's the most important position.
Okay. Offensive line coach, Tony Sperano Jr. 14 years.
He's a really talented kid.
Running backs coach, DeAndre Smith, 24 years. Defensive backs coach, Ron Millis, 33 years.
Excellent job.
Tight ends coach, Tom Manning, 18 years.
Excellent.
So again, my point is this coaching staff is filled with nothing but experience. Nothing but experience. And they're transparent and upfront about it. But you know what's so funny, right? The Philadelphia Eagles and the Colts and all the NFL teams, they use the same website style, to show their coaching directory. It's the same system in terms of, how they show their head coaches, right? But again, you can show as much information as you want, right? You know the difference between the Colts and the Eagles. Right on the front page, the Colts hit you right in your face with their experience. 34 years, 16 years, 14 years there. On the Eagles, you got to click their name. You got to dig for their experience. You got to find it. They're not up front with these guys' experience at all.
They're not up front with anything.
So, again, you've been talking about this, right? And it's been ignored, but I think it's something that really needs to be delved into. You have a $50 million quarterback that you're investing long-term money into, and you decide to surround him with personnel or rather staff that has almost no experience doing the role that they're in. I'm not rolling with that.
Or they're limited at the role. Even if they have NFL experience. When you do this, Tone, when you go from being, look at what Jalen has behind him now. So you got a first-year coordinator and you got a first-year quarterback coach with a $50 million quarterback and a $20 million wideout.
Right.
And $30 million OTs.
Exactly. Even if you stop right there, that's a problem. Even if you stop right there, a first-year coordinator and a first-year quarterback coach, that's a problem right there. Period.
That's by design, though.
Let me try to find who the quarterback coach is for these guys here. The quarterback coach in Indy, Cam Turner, 14 years of experience. I don't know who he is, but 14 years sounds like a long time.
You should pull up that Seattle Seahawks coaching staff. Blow your mind.
Man, man, blow my mind. I don't want my heart broken. Let's put it that way.
Hey, man, it'll blow your mind what you have to deal with Clinton, them guys up there that's a hell of a coaching staff. Remember, Sean Desai was plucked off that staff.
Yeah. He was there. Then he went to Chicago, and then he
came Chicago. Then he went there. I thought.
Chicago.
I thought he was there in Seattle last year.
Okay, right. I think you're right, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. He was the associate head coach and of the defense in Seattle last year.
Pete thinks highly of him.
Yeah.
Pete does. Pete thinks highly of him.
Here's the thing, right? Sean Desai might very well be a good coach, right? But we'll never know because he's being told to do one thing in Philadelphia. And I think that's why they didn't give the job to Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson. So listen to this, right? You were so comfortable. This is how you know the Philadelphia Eagles care about control. You were so adamant about elevating Brian Johnson, a guy that was in-house. You were so adamant about keeping things in-house, right? On your offensive side. But on the defensive side, you had a guy in the building that knew your personnel, knew your strengths and weaknesses in Denard Wilson, knew your DBs inside and out. All your DBs had career years in 2022, but you don't want to keep that in-house. Why? Because Denard Wilson didn't want to do things the way how we wanted them to get done. But you know what he did do? He brought somebody else in that would do it. Someone else who probably was more desperate for the role. Sean Desai. Sean Desai wasn't the first choice or the second choice.
Third choice.
I don't even think he was the third.
Could be further down the list.
Denard Wilson was in the building already.
Because look how long it took for them to announce him.
Denard Wilson was in the building already. You kept Brian Johnson in-house and elevated him. What was the problem with elevating Denard Wilson? Denard Wilson has those Ravens DBs playing out of their minds right now.
Because Denard Wilson wanted to run a defense that was maybe was conflicting with what they wanted to run. In my opinion, okay, he probably wanted to change some things up. And in the interview process, that was going to be a red flag. Remember, in the interview process with Shane and with Nick, Frank prepped him. Don't go against what they want to do. They believe in a system, and I'm going to prove it to you right here. Okay. Since 2021, Has Jalen Hurts gotten better?
Since 2021, yes.
Has the offense evolved?
No.
Okay. How can your quarterback is only going to walk backwards and regress because predictability is going to eventually catch up with that. You know why Jalen Hurts looks the way he does? Tone. The league knows what he's doing. They haven't evolved that offense enough. You know, Brady said it. I'm constantly learning how to read defenses because defenses are changing every year on me. They are constantly evolving their defenses and their game plan on how they game plan me. Why would the Eagles' arrogance and their mindset be, we're going to run the same offense we ran in 21 today, and let's do this. Because we're paying him, let's take the RPO out. You're going to run 53 less RPOs than you did a year ago.
Yeah, they are. They're
How are you getting better?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No. Here, follow me. This is why I said the only person that can make this thing happen is Jalen. He is the best player in that locker room. And dude, I hate to say this to people, and I know they're not going to agree, but okay. I think they destroyed Carson Wentz this way. And what happened with Wentz was he wasn't mentally tough enough to overcome it. And I think Hurts has the mettle to overcome it. But I think he needs a set of cannolis. I don't want to run that. Like Mahomes says, dude, you have $50 million worth of equity in that building. You may not have the total pelts on the wall yet, but you got the salary. You got the bag of money. It's in the bank. You need to use that more. Instead of walking off the sidelines and shaking your head, you need to start doing this. That's not what we're doing. You need more audible power. You need to do more in the RPO. Hey, like we said, you and me, Tone, if I get 6 years out of Jalen Hurts and 2 Super Bowls and he gets hurt in year 8, I'm good with that.
I'm totally good with that. Listen.
And he'll leave a legend.
Jalen Hurts, give me 10 years. He give me 2 Super Bowls. I'm straight.
No doubt.
I'm good. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he delivered 2 times over. You feel me? So, and Super Bowls are hard to win. So if Jalen Hurts, especially a guy who wasn't supposed to even be here, he gives me 10 years of A+ football and 2 Super Bowls, I don't give a damn what anybody say. That was a success. He got the money in the bank. So again, I agree. I think Jalen Hurts does need to put his foot down, and when it comes to the direction of this offense, I mean,
I just need more out of him.
Yeah, and he's going to be the only one that can turn it around. You know, I look at this team right now, and you know, I see a team that's still trying to figure out. And it's unfortunate we're in week 15, and this is even a conversation. I just feel like this. I feel like this coaching staff has shot their load, and I have a hard time believing that Nick Sirianni can put this thing together again.
They haven't adjusted to the league adjusting to them.
Exactly. I said it on Sports Take earlier. Here's the thing. With Jalen Hurts, right? We were spoiled by his jump. And from 2021 to 2022, his jump was so astronomical. It was so unprecedented. We assumed that kind of jump would happen again. But even taking it a step further, I believe that people, because of that jump he made, I feel like people forgot how far he came. And people forgot that when he came into the league, he had deficiencies. He had things he needed to work on, right? But because the league hadn't quite figured him out yet, and he came out like gangbusters in 2022, we kind of assumed that trend would maintain. When
the Eagles are rushing his development.
Exactly. And I feel like because of that, fans have a misconception of where he actually is in his development because of what happened in 2022. Remember, they didn't have that much film on him. So therefore, he was able to come out, and he did grow a lot. He grew a lot.
Ton.
But Jalen Hurts still has room to improve. And I was talking to John McMullen about this last night on Football 24/7. We do the show about 3 times out of the week. And you know, I brought this up. I feel like, you know, because again, I brought it up on Sports Take as well. I feel like we need to really sit back and really look at it for what it is and not for what we want it to be. The fact of the matter is Jalen Hurts has came a long way as an NFL quarterback. and he's positioned himself to be in the conversations with guys like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Dak
Not with
Prescott.
the environment around
You know,
him.
he's put himself in that position, right?
Not with the environment around him.
But
No way.
now now it seems like he's a lone man on the mountain trying to carry a team to the promised land, when in reality his coaches aren't living up to their end of the bargain. And
The organization isn't.
we could take it as far as that as well. You know, they've done their job as far as putting talent around them on offense. I will give them that.
Yes.
They put the talent around them on
And
offense.
spend the money.
They gave him the money.
No, the whole
now,
offense money.
Oh yeah. They spent the money to make sure the talent is around them, and they even did right by the structure of the contract. But they have not done right in the grand scheme of things when you think about it from a coaching perspective, right?
And a philosophical one, and I'm going to prove it to you
Yes.
here. I'm listening, Tone.
So yeah, so for me, Jalen Hurts is quite literally what we're watching right now. We're watching the maturation of Jalen Hurts right now as a quarterback, because he's struggling on first and second down throwing the ball. He's from a statistical perspective, he's one of the worst quarterbacks throwing the ball on first down. So that tells me, A, they're either putting him in a position to not succeed. B, he's just flat out not seeing the field. C, teams are catching up to him.
All of it,
right? It's all of those things. So I think the coaches need to do a better job of creating an environment, creating a situation where you can put all your playmakers in better situations to win. Think about the Niners.
He has to do it. They can't. I do not believe that coaching staff is going to have an epiphany one night and put him into game-winning situations. I don't believe that. I have no faith in that defense and that coaching staff to do that for those players. The players, the predictability part, I believe D Gun. I believe that to be completely true.
I believe D Gun as well.
But it's an organizational predictability. Yeah. It's not just offense. It's everything they do. And here is the number one example of it. So, Tone, I'm listening today to Sean Desai talking. And it might have been McMullen or somebody that asked the question. It goes like this. He goes, what were Dallas doing that, kind of made you guys seem a little bit confused out there? And Desai admitted for the first time, I almost fell off my chair. Senor was listening too. And he goes, yeah, McCarthy went off script, and he went off script and he went off tendency, and they were running different formations, and they just were starting to do things out there that we hadn't seen. And I went,
this is the NF freaking L. This is the NFL.
Tone, I went like this. So you weren't prepared for a quality coordinator like McCarthy. You thought he was going to run the same thing because you run the same thing in 2021. You thought he was going to run the same routes in the first game that you played. In the second game, you thought he was going to do the same game plan. If you think that, you have no idea how to coach in this league.
You know what I take that as? I take that as an inability to self-scout. Because if you notice on that first drive, the Cowboys, their main goal was to run on that drive. They ran on that drive. They got down the field because they ran the ball. Dak had some key third down passes or whatever. But for the most part, they ran the ball down that field on the first drive. And the moment I saw how that thing was going, I said, oh, okay, we're losing this game. Because they are not stopping the run at this point in the game. It's not going to get better. So, again, when you hear something like that, oh, they change tendencies. Oh, where's your freaking instinct? Where's your gut? Where's your intuition?
Look at this, Tone. He asked, why did you put two high safety on fourth and 2 down when Dallas had a run play? Desai pretty much said Dallas usually throws the ball on that down and distance. McCarthy changed the play up. He changed the tendency up. He went off script. You weren't prepared for that.
Right.
That ain't the only play in that game, dude.
Right. That ain't the only. Yeah, that's just a microcosm of what happened.
Because how many? Hey, what was the one thing you kept saying? I remember on Monday, you go like this, man. How many times you look over and you saw Sirianni shaking his head, going, "What the fuck are they doing?"
He looked like he didn't know what he was looking at. Like, listen, I said this earlier on Sports Take. I know I may not know what's going on behind the scenes. Also, another thing, right? Me and John spoke about this last night. You know, John says, you know, when fans criticize play calling, what they're really doing is criticizing play results. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what they're trying to do. But when we see the result, we try to look at it in hindsight. And I thought about that. And I'm like, okay, that's a fair statement, right? So I said, fair enough, right? I'll give you that. But what I do see, what I do notice, I notice body language. I know how I pay attention to how guys are looking in their eyes and their faces. I know the look of a man who has no idea what the hell he's doing. I know the look of a dude who is completely not bought into what he's been told to do. I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like when a leader has no idea how to lead his men out of the foxhole. You know what's so funny? I said on Sports Take, Nick Sirianni has a large responsibility this Monday. As of right now, his soldiers, Nick Sirianni is the general. As of right now, his soldiers and him, they're surrounded right now. They're surrounded.
That's my general.
And as of right now, he has to prove to his men that he can lead them out of this situation.
Nick Sirianni's my general.
And right now, I'm struggling to know if they're gonna survive.
Damn, dude.
Because they are, as of right now, they
I'm
are
like the
surrounded.
first dude storming the beaches of Normandy now. I'm going to take a bullet in the head here.
They're surrounded, Sills. They're surrounded in enemy territory.
Let me read this. Nick Sirianni on changing who's calling the plays for the Eagles. I do not think that's the issue. I think Brian Johnson is doing a great job. I need to be able to manage the game the way I see fit. What kind of fucking answer is that?
Listen, here's my thing right to that, right? To his point.
Help me decipher that there. I mean, because I think I need a UN translator.
Well, I'm gonna process it because me and Rob talked about this. One, firing somebody in week 15 is not going to help you.
No, that's not.
That's not going to help you. So that's one, right? Bringing in a new voice when you've already got a problem with the voices in the room already, I don't think that's going to help you.
Sign of panic.
Exactly. Changing play caller duties from Brian Johnson to Nick Sirianni, that's not going to help you because we saw what that looked like. Yep. So to that point, changing anything from that regard in terms of who's going to call the plays will not help this team. So again, like I agree with you. It's a sign of panic. It's a knee-jerk reaction. At the end of the day, it's week 15. You got to live with this.
You need to shorten the playbook up.
Yes.
To what they do best.
Listen, Colin Cowherd, he's a national guy, but I like his opinion 70% of the time. He says he's been saying this all year. He says, look, the Philadelphia Eagles, this is what they do. They and then finally they fall back to who they are. So I think that's such an important take because it's actually factual. They try so hard to be something they're not in the first half.
Yep.
And then in the second half, you know what they do? They say, well, okay.
Yeah, but they're not doing that this year for some reason, Tone.
They're
not running the ball this year.
Not doing it. So, the only person that can really turn this around is Jalen Hurts.
Yes,
Jalen Hurts has to be phenomenal.
That's right.
He has to be phenomenal.
Because he has to overcome shitty coaching.
And shitty defense.
Absolutely.
Because the talent is around him. So thank God he has talent. Thank God
just not
he has talent.
They're not utilizing the pieces on the chessboard.
Agreed.
Okay? And get this. So when I hear people go, well, they need to do more, need to be more creative. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? When you're going to try to do, now what you want to do is come up with something else the kid's not proficient in. I'm going to go back to what the guy's proficient at. He is the best RPO quarterback in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy as accurate, the RPO quickness and decision making. That includes the guy in Baltimore.
Yeah, look,
I'm telling you, I've
this
never
offense
seen a guy. So what you did though was you neutered him, and you're like, okay, well, let's throw the ball more. And the reason he's holding the ball more,
because he's questioning what he's seeing.
struggling at seeing what you want him to do.
Because
and then
the
he
defense
can't go to,
Yes.
and then when he takes off, it's kind of a half-ass RPO.
Yeah, and defenses are also throwing different looks at him, right? So again, this goes into Jalen Hurts' development as a quarterback, right? Not just physically, but also mentally.
Joan, how
as
many
well.
times did AJ Brown say this year they threw different shit at us?
He said it like he said it at least 3 times within the first 5 weeks. He said it at least 2 to 3 times within the first 5 weeks. He said it in the Patriots game, and I think he said it in the Vikings game, if I'm not mistaken. But the bottom line is Jalen Hurts, look, no one's saying Jalen Hurts can't get the job done. I want to make that very clear as well. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is
can't get the job done with those parameters.
Exactly. What we're saying is I think they need to go back to what they do well. And again, John McMullen even said it. You know, Davis and Garrow said it. Those are guys that have been covering this team for a long time. They have not evolved. The offense has not evolved, right? Instead, what they've done, they've tried to do something different this year. Instead of the RPOs, okay, let's hit them with something else. No, evolve that. Add more layers to that. Add more wrinkles to that, right? You know, that's because at the end of the day, that's who Jalen Hurts is right now. He's gonna develop naturally into the guy you want him to be because the athleticism is going to start to fail. Let that happen. Let that be a steady progression instead of trying to force feed this 7-step drop offense to him. It's counterproductive to me. Like he got where he got because he was maximizing the RPO and keeping defenses on their toes. Now that he got the money, now you want to turn him into. See, this is kind of what happened with Donovan McNabb. But the only difference is Donovan McNabb decided to start running on his own.
Here's the thing, Tone, when you met, and we brought that up too. Every single quarterback that they have had under the Jeffrey Lurie regime, they have never developed to the best of their abilities because they've always gotten their own way with their front office analytics. And probably McNabb got the closest because Reed had a lot of autonomy in the building.
Yeah, McNabb got in his own way. I think McNabb got in his own way.
Probably, also, yeah. McNabb got in his own way more so, but the rest of them,
and also they didn't surround him
with
with talent.
Factor came in. To me, in my opinion, man, I mean, they want you. It's no coincidence you won a Super Bowl with a backup.
Yeah. You know what they,
and not a frontline guy.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny, right? They weren't running RPOs with Carson Wentz. What happened was when Nick Foles got there, they were like, "Okay, we can't run the same offense." So it took them a week, and it took them I lied. It took them until second half of the Atlanta Falcons game in the divisional round. That was when Doug Peterson and those guys started running the RPOs. Not when he first came, because at first he was running a similar offense, and then the final couple weeks, Foles started struggling, and they said, "Okay, we can't go into the playoffs playing like this." So the first half of the game, they got by. And then it was a close game, and they realized, okay, we got to flip the script. So they dug into the RPO system, and that was Philadelphia's first introduction to the RPOs by Doug Peterson and Frank Reich and John DeFilippo and those guys. Right, that was our first introduction. And that second half, Nick Foles was immaculate. He wasn't even running the ball.
You guys have had the same offense since 17.
You can make an argument for that, yeah. You can make an argument for that.
Yeah.
The only difference is,
dude. No wonder they. Oh my, dude.
The only difference is obviously Foles can't run. So yeah. Obviously Foles can't run. So you use the RPO differently. You would either give it to the running back or you would pass it. So at that point, they kind of fell in love with that. But obviously they got away from that when Carson Wentz came back. So at that point, it's all about what Carson Wentz wants to do. But then when and then remember, they weren't really trying to go back to the RPO again. They weren't trying to go back. Remember, they were actually resistant against it. If you think about it,
they were directed to try to get away from it because those Monday meetings. Remember what they wanted? They wanted passing. They always
right.
Hey, how do you bitch at Doug Peterson for winning a game 17-14 and you're giving him shit about it, and you're questioning his? I guarantee he probably had a meeting after he won the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't even be surprised, man. Drunk as hell in those meetings. What are you talking about, Howie?
Hey.
So again, right? You know, they got away from the RPO when Carson Wentz came back. Then he went down again. Nick Foles comes in. They get back to it. They make it to the divisional round, but then obviously Foles leaves, goes to the Jags for the big money. Carson Wentz comes back. They go back to doing the original offense, and then they bring in Nick Sirianni, 2-5 record. Remember, they weren't doing RPOs at that time. Shane Steichen says, "No, listen, I know how to use this kid. Watch this." Shane Steichen comes in, and all of a sudden they go on like a 7-3 run.
Shane Steichen saved Nick Sirianni's job.
And Shane Steichen showed us who Jalen Hurts was meant to be.
And then get this, Shane leaves. They showed you who they want him to be.
Exactly. It's just that simple. Dude, but no one wants to have those conversations.
Don't get this. You know what's really a really awful take here? The money didn't change Hurts. The money changed the Eagles.
That's a bar, Sills. No one wants to have those conversations. It makes people uncomfortable. Don't do it. It makes people uncomfortable. See, I care about this team a lot, so I'm gonna talk about them like they're my cousin. You feel me? I'm gonna talk about you like you're my brother. I love this team that much. So listen, I give my brother hell when I see him doing some dumb shit. So I'm gonna so when it comes to the Eagles,
with me.
So when it comes to the Eagles, I'm doing the same thing. I don't love this team any less than anybody else in this live chat. You know what I'm saying? We all love this team equally, but I'm gonna hold them accountable differently than you.
Here's something to think about too. What you're talking about right there. You're looking beyond the 10-3.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
10-3. 10-3 get you to the 10-3 get you to the dance. 10-3 doesn't get you the prom king crown or doesn't get you the prom queen.
10-3 for you is okay.
Good work so far. That's all it is.
No. It's expected.
Yes. It's expected.
Why? Yes. See, people in here want to be rewarded for 10-3 for doing the obvious. It's like thanking somebody for not robbing a bank.
That's why I was so glad when you were at KOP's Hooters. By the way, you did a hell of a job. I watched that whole thing from beginning to end, and you were spectacular. In my opinion, that's your element, dude. That's your element. You need to be around the people. That's your element.
We had a good time. We had a good time, man. It was really great.
So you said something, right? And we brought this up months ago. What's the $1 million question you always ask me when it comes to ownership?
Is it more important for them?
No. I'll take it a step further, right? About Jeffrey Lurie. He's on the team for 30 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you think he's over or underachieved? And this is the 30th year of him owning the Eagles. Do you think he's over or underachieved as an owner?
And this is why I say underachieved. Because I don't settle for mediocrity, Sills. I don't. I wasn't raised to. My wife looks at me and tells me to listen, man, you got to stop some of the roses because I don't know how to stop grinding, Sills.
You're not a happy guy, dude.
Listen, I'm in therapy for this, Sills. I'm in therapy
trust me. It does.
I'm learning
better.
I'm learning to be a healthy human being because you want to know what
telling yourself that, Tone.
Listen, you want to know my biggest fear in life?
It will not get better.
You want to know what my biggest fear in life? And this is me being vulnerable with the live chat. Take it for what you will, Eagles fans. This is my biggest fear in life. My biggest fear in life is that I'm never going to be satisfied with the accomplishments I've made in my life. My biggest fear in life is I'm never going to be satisfied. That's a fear of mine because I work hard and my wife works hard. And I have a lot of goals and aspirations. My biggest fear is that no matter what I accomplish, it'll never be good enough for me.
Grasshopper, I'm here to help you, man. And I will. Hey, it ain't going to get better, dude. That's
my biggest fear in life.
Here's why. The more success you get, success is a drug. And once you get a lot of that drug of success and you have a lot of it, because you're going to go through a lot, you're going to go through more failure than you are success. But when you get that one glass and you keep drinking from it and you're having success,
but I'm okay with failure.
That's the thing.
I'm okay with failure. But the thing is, though, like,
of course you are, because you know why? The reason you're okay with failure, because you know you're closer to success.
Yeah. I'm all about taking steps forward. I don't give a damn. I don't care if I trip.
Closer. Not front running.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, You know, so I just, you know, I just have a different perspective, right? About this football team. You know, like, here's the thing, man. You know, some people say you're gaslighting us, you're trying to rile us up. No, I'm giving you my opinion, and you do with that what you will.
Wait a minute. No.
Like, come on now.
What we're doing here, do you really see something different? I mean,
yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Are you really looking at something different than I am? Because if I am, that makes me know even more so that I have a better perspective than you on something, and I have more clarity in what I'm seeing than you do. Because most people, or I would say 20% of the people that watch our show, you don't have the proper clarity on what you're watching. You
They're
have no
blind.
idea. You're allowing emotions and you're allowing your passion to cloud your judgment on what you're watching, because you know. Let me say this one last thing, Tone. I'll give it to you here.
Yep.
Let me say this. If I was on the air in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the radio at either 97.5 or IP, I'd have been off the air the second week of September, because you can't talk like this. You can't talk like
This
this
is why I
anymore.
love the internet. This is why I love the internet. I love this new media,
You
because
can't talk like this, because you know why? They have guardrails.
Yep.
And I don't. And so the reason why people call me, what is it called? Shock jock stuff, which I don't even know what that means. I think about things to rile people. I don't. I just talk about what I see. I mean, I'm not a very good liar. I can't lie, actually. You know when I'm lying, because I'm not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that I see, and this is why, Tone, people have always taken 2% of what I say, so they'll make a narrative out of something on what it is. So when you talk like this, people are uncomfortable. They're completely uncomfortable with this.
Oh man, you know, this is I'm looking at this live chat. They are hilarious. Oh man, you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny? What is it? Shout out to LJ, man. LJ always comes into the live chat, man. He does great work, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I had a
LJ.
job for him, I'd hire him as a typist, because I've never seen a guy that could type more as quick as he can, as loud, as long as he can, and he does it for 4 hours.
Listen,
so if I had to put
love
my
LJ.
if I had to put my memoirs
LJ.
together, he's going to be the guy that's going to type my memoir out, because that dude knows how to type. I mean, he must post at least 600 messages in a 4-hour span. Dude, you're going to put my memoirs together.
I love LJ. Listen to this, man. So he says 2 losses is a rut, 4 losses is a trend. Here's my thing, right? This is listen. This goes back to your point.
Off.
No, listen, but here's the thing, right? He's looking at the win-loss column,
of course,
instead of looking at the product on the field.
Of course, he is.
This is if you know, so funny. I was one of the people that kept saying, "Well, listen, the way they keep winning, man, they're showing they're resilient, right? I'm rolling with that, right? It's, you know, it's sustainable." But then, when if you really take a step back and really look at how this thing has been going, they've actually been trending this way.
Of course,
they've been trending this way.
Tone, you have fought me all year until the Niner game. When I come out and you're guy, me and
I fought
Angelo,
you all year. When
me and Angelo were saying, I don't trust this team, we were doing that at 4-0, 5-0. You weren't buying it. Nobody was buying it.
I wasn't buying it. But
wait a minute.
Full disclosure. They all see it. I was holding it down.
Cover of the book. You weren't reading the book.
Listen.
But I'll tell you what I do love about you right now is that what you don't like to be is fooled.
Embarrassed. I don't like to be embarrassed.
Fooled.
Yeah, that part. Embarrassed and fooled. I don't do well with those two things. Yeah, that's my wife. I don't do well with that. I don't do well with being embarrassed.
They fooled you.
I don't do well with being fooled. So
that
now I'm angry.
It's not who he says he is.
So now I'm angry.
That guy's not who he's, because what you don't like is people not to be who they are.
Yes.
Especially when you put passion and love into something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's be candid here, Tone. You don't like or you don't have a passion for the Eagles. You love the Eagles. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes. Absolutely not. It's okay to say that.
Exactly.
So when someone fools you a bit, hey, man. Hey, like with Tiger, I say this all the time. That's why I never fall in love with athletes. Tiger had this portrait that he used to have for all the media guys. Oh, Tiger's the guts and that one November night. all of a sudden that golf club went upside that Escalade, and everyone goes, "Holy cow, he's a shitty husband."
No doubt.
Ugh. I mean, hey, how many shitty husbands have there been in the world? That thing almost ruined him, and it had nothing to do with his game. But because Tiger had made those guys look like fools, covering him,
they destroyed him.
They destroyed him. That's what's happening with a lot of the media people going, "Damn, dude, what's going on? Why will they not play press?" Because it's what they do. Why'd they take the RPO out? Because they're protecting $50 million. It's follow the money.
Mm-hmm. Eagles fans, in the live chat, I got a lot of respect for you guys because, I relate to you in a ton of ways. You're passionate about your birds. You guys eat, sleep, and breathe this. And you guys do so much on game day. You guys do so much throughout the week, the tailgates. I've been there. I'm born and raised in Philly, North Philadelphia, baby, 23rd and Dolphin. I know what it's like to be in this city and to see what winning does to a culture. I know what city does to the projects. I know what winning does to a city. I know what winning does to these college campuses. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've witnessed it. So when you spend your hard-earned cash, your hard-earned dough, going to these games on gas money, on parking, on concessions, on the jersey, on the Kelly Green, on the seats, when you spend your money on that, on the stadium, on the renovations, when you spend your money on that, and then all of a sudden you see the product they've given us the past 2 weeks in terms of coaching, effort, so on and so forth, whatever you want to call it, when you see things like that and you know just how great this team can be and the talent they have, come on, man, I take it personal.
Hey, wait.
I take it personal.
All those things that you just said, I'm going to supersede all that shit with you. And I'm going to say this. When I put my love and passion and time into something, it ain't about $2, Tone. Ain't about $100. It's about me having faith in you and civic pride in you.
Yes.
I take pride in you. And when that pride gets damaged because of incompetence, okay, you have a problem with that because you're vested. When you're vested in something like a marriage, and being a fan of some team like the Eagles for you is your second wife.
It's religion.
It's religion.
It's
a religion. It's blind faith.
Yes. It's crazy, right? I'm at, you remember how you asked me when I watch the games, can I relax or can I sit still? All those kind of things. It's hard for me to do this because.
Do you stand up when you're watching the game?
I stand up, I sit down, I stand up, I sit down, I pace, I walk, I do a lot of different movement. I'm never in the same spot for more than 2 minutes. So I do a lot of movement. I do a lot of I do a lot. I do a lot of line shifts. But listen, when they lose, I like to keep it real with the people because I am who I am and I'm comfortable with my skin. When they lose, man, I feel like I lost. I feel like I was out there and somebody kicked my ass. I feel embarrassed.
I like this guy here, Church of the Birds.
I'm embarrassed. When they lose, I feel embarrassed. I feel like, damn, I feel exposed. I feel like somebody caught me with my pants down.
Now I know why the last 2 weeks people have been a little gun shy, because Eagle fans feel that the team not only has been exposed, but the fan base feels like they're in it with them and they've been exposed because now all of a sudden they're realizing what they may be.
I don't think people understand when the Eagles see, again, the fact that they lost, okay, people lose all the time. It's how they lost. So let's stay there.
On their backs.
When you see how they lost to who they lost to, it not only affects how you feel about the team, it affects how you feel about yourself. It affects how you feel about the food you eat. Stuff don't taste the same. The sun don't shine as bright. You don't walk the same. You don't talk the same. You don't watch the games the same.
Tone walks with a limp after losses.
Like, come on. all I can be is honest and be myself, man. And I'm cool with that. You know, some people may feel differently. Some people may be able to watch the games. They lose, turn it off. Okay, they go back to real life. And real life does start, of course, obviously. I'm happy in my life.
Yeah, but Tone, this is important.
But when they lose,
to get away from real life.
Come on, man. Like,
hey,
you watch.
Let me end it with this here, because we got Mark Farzett on, by the way, at 4:30 Eastern. Let me ask you this.
Hold on, A-Check. I'm sorry, A-Check is hilarious.
What's his?
He said, "Tony, you're not on the roster. Relax. We're not exposed. The 49ers got exposed 3 games in a row, but blame it on injuries. now they're the best again."
That's funny.
But here's the thing, right? I'm glad he said that. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, A-Track. Yes, the 49ers, they lost. If they're missing one guy, they're not the same team. Totally understand, right? But that's something that's out of their control, which can be explained. Trent Williams goes down. Okay, they're losing. We can explain that, right? We can explain that. That's out of their control. What makes what's going on with the Eagles worse? It's the fact that what makes their situation so much worse is what's going wrong with them can be controlled.
Yeah.
What happens when things are going wrong and you can actually prevent it from happening?
Look at this guy. He hasn't eaten in 2 weeks.
You know what I'm saying? So wait, somebody said he hasn't eaten 2 weeks.
And Kelly goes, I haven't eaten 2 weeks.
Oh man. I'm just saying, Eagles fans, I'm with y'all and I'm rolling with y'all. I'm riding or dying. Best believe that. But I just gotta call it how I see it, man.
Oh man.
And I don't think they're playing up to par.
Fungool. Holy God, man.
Yo, listen, I love y'all, man. Y'all are listen. This live chat is funny,
even
man.
you, LJ, even you, man.
Even
you know
LJ, man.
Man.
Even LJ.
Seriously though, man, you're gonna be my professional typist if I ever put my life story together. I've never seen a maniac more in my life. Well, wait, like this maniac. When I watch the game, I sit and stand, I spit, I curse, I yell, I say out loud, "Damn you, Sills, you big galoot." Yeah. When I said you didn't have a shot to beat, then I picked the Cowboys. Wait, you know what? How you feeling about that Hawks game?
I actually feel good about it today. Today, I feel good about it. I think they're going to come. I think this is a game where
Nick's going to outcoach Pete Carroll.
Remember what I told you? I said Jalen. I said Jalen Hurts has to be phenomenal.
Okay.
So I think this is a game where Jalen Hurts gets back to the basics. I think these past 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts is like, okay, listen, something got to give. Something got to give. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, Nick says everything's okay, so.
Hey, listen. I don't give a damn what Nick says. I care about what Hurts says.
Holy cow.
Whatever Hurts says, that's the Bible right there. Whatever Hurts says.
I'll tell you one thing, man. You are the face of fans in Philly.
Whatever Jalen Hurts says, that's the Bible.
3 weeks ago, that guy's a good paisan today. Hey, let me tell you something. You lose another one, I'm going to put a switch and I'm going to turn that heater up on you, Junior. You bet your ass I am. Great stuff,
listen, again, all I'm saying is, I think they win the game. I do. I think I do. I think operative word think. I think they win the game. But we talked about this too. This Monday is going to tell us a lot about Nick Sirianni. Right now,
I'm really glad to get an extra day's rest.
Me too. I'll be honest. Right now, Nick Sirianni, he's at a fork in the road in his career. He's at a fork in the road. He can either make the right move or he can make the wrong move. The choice is his.
There's a scene in The Freshman. There's one boy, and Carmine says there's two boys. And
I respect Eagles fans for not panicking, right? Listen, I got a lot of respect for the fans that are saying, look, it's just 2 games. I get it. It's
not just 2 games.
But it's not just 2 games, though.
Your defense has sucked all year.
It's really not. It's really not just 2 games.
Your defense is blown all year long. Tone, I got to take a timeout. We got Farzetta coming
up.
Yes,
we got Farzetta coming up, man. Should be excited, man. Thanks, Sills. I appreciate you.
Got you, my friend. That is our good friend Tone there. Don't forget also, man, we got the month of December during this great time right now. Hooters wants to thank all you guys for coming out to the King of Prussia Hooters to come out and see us, like Tone said. Hooters Bucks, man, are back. You're going to love them. Santa bonus bucks are here. $5 gift certificates. They're stocking stuffers. You can put them in the stocking. Fantastic stuff here. has to be the absolute perfect gift here. Again, calendars are out. The Hooters calendars are out. 9 of the girls are featured in the calendars. You can also go to HootersToGo.com. Today is Wednesday. That's Wing Wednesdays, 1983. All you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturday. Go to NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com. When you roll into any one of the facilities, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Shop, have a beer. Christmas shopping shouldn't be hard. Give your friends a Hooters gift card.
This year, stuff their stockings and yours too with a one-size-fits-all gift card. Buy a $25 Hooters gift card and receive a $5 Santa's bonus card. Make it Hooters for the holidays.
Eat chicken wings, buy Hooters things. Christmas is near. Gift cards are here. Good at Hooters everywhere now. Hooters gifts are always favored.